2016 South Korean action horror film starts off showing how strange and cold the relationship is between a divorced workaholic father and his little girl Swan. He is so caught up in his work life that he ends up lazily getting the daughter the same gift he got her the last birthday. After having been disappointed so many times over and over again by her father, the only thing she actually wants for her birthday is to go and see her mom in Busan, which means that she would much rather stay with her. At first, the father is like, no, screw that, but in a much nicer way. Until his mother, the girl's grandmother, comes in to give the kind of advice only a wise old mother can give. She puts down a handycam after having hinted that the father missed his daughter's recital that she recorded, and when the father saw the daughter's recital on the camera and that she choked up on her performance singing her song, he felt bad and decided to take her the next day. While driving to the train station, he almost gets into an accident because quite a few fire trucks, ambulances, and police cars are in a hurry towards a burning skyscraper in the distance. Of course, he thinks nothing of it, other than it might just be a really bad accident somewhere. They board the train at Seoul Station, and we see beefy street fighter guy with his pregnant wife, two old ladies who are sisters, the baseball team and their cheerleader, the homeless dude, and creepy suit dude. Just as the train doors are closing, nobody happens to see this young lady enter the train. I mean, she was right in front of that guy, but maybe he just thought she was a passenger trying to get the train before the doors closed. What everybody fails to notice also is that the girl is really sick and limping. Things jump from 0 to 80 real quick. The girl gets sicker and eventually she seizes and passes out or dies. We're going to go with dead because it only takes a few seconds later for her to reanimate into a Usain Bolt zombie. She attacks a female attendant who turned her back on her as she was trying to get help. A very stupid and irresponsible move, especially considering she wasn't trained for basic CPR. It's a zombie movie involving zombies making a zombie bridge out of their own bodies. Nothing makes sense. It doesn't take long for everyone off the train to start panicking as one infected person bites another. And then instantly, or at least almost instantly, they all start biting the healthy people. Just as a side note, if you smear blood all over your face and start acting like those kind of zombies, will they leave you alone or can they smell that you're not infected? The main characters that I mentioned earlier end up locking themselves in with a whole bunch of other passengers into a car with the infected on the other side of the door. They have the bright idea to block the view because they've already proven that if the zombies can't see you, well, they'll just instantly lose all interest and act as if you were never there. This is not a local event, and the people quickly realize that this is something that is spreading quickly throughout the country, and possibly the entire world. Because cities all over are now infected, they can't stop the train at their normal stops. Their destination ends up being Busan, the last stop, which is why the movie is called what it is. Before that, they stop at the Daejeon station, and they thought they were all safe until they found out the multitude of soldiers were all infected along with everyone else. This forced them to hurry back onto the train. Most of the baseball team died horribly, and the little girl got separated from her daddy when beefy street fighter dude grabs her up with his wife. Everyone momentarily gets separated, and the father, beefy street fighter guy, and one of the baseball dudes narrowly escapes the zombies chasing after them to make the train for which they disembarked. You know, this movie is really amazing, because somehow no matter how fast the train seems to be moving, the people are always able to catch up to it. Adrenaline acts as a superpower. The father of the little girl realizes when he calls his company again that it was actually his company that indirectly caused this zombie outbreak. That's not necessarily important to the movie, but it might be for the sequel. Beefy street fighter dude, the father, and the baseball dude get a call and realize the pregnant girl, Swan, the little girl, one of the old lady sisters, and the homeless dude are locked in a bathroom, cornered by zombies who chase them in there. The problem is, to get all the way to the other car, they will have to go through several cars that have infected people on them. Zombies. The rest of what ensues is like a very strange cutscene from Doom Eternal or some hack and slash or bunge and lunge video game. Honestly, Street Fighter Dude manages to do most of the heavy lifting. When they make it to the ones being held captive, they start their stealthy journey back to the car from whence they came. During this time, the cheerleader girl tries to talk to the creepy suit guy, who is really horrible as a character. He's a good actor, but he's just a horrible person, because apparently he wants everyone else to lock our main characters out. He spreads fear and paranoia and is even willing to sacrifice people all in the name of his own survival. He convinces the frightened people to lock the door by tying it with fabric so that when our main characters come back, they can't get in. Despite all odds, nobody had any cuts or scratches from the zombies, but when they get back to the door, they can't open it. Some people are trying to fight Creepy Suit Dude and his minions to let them in, but most of them are keeping our main characters out. Our main characters have to force the door open, and Street Fighter Dude, in all of his strength and Hulk-like glory, holds the door closed to the one of the cars full of infected that they just came from, while the rest of our good guys try to convince the people to open the car door with the survivors. In trying to do that, he puts his hand in the way and a zombie ends up biting it through the opening in the door. More like she freaking levitated, or she has a magnet in her mouth and he has metal in his arm and they somehow connected. So freaking sad. He knows he's gonna die, and his poor pregnant wife sees this as he tells her to get away and for the father of the little girl to take care of his wife. He finally names their baby, and our main characters are able to force their way back into the car with the other survivors. A tragedy befalls our Street Fighter dude as he's eaten by the zombies, and right before the old lady can make it through with the others, the zombies grab her. This was one of the saddest parts of the movie as well, because the old lady had been separated from her sister, and they both thought the other was dead. They happened to see each other at the last moment through the door before the one that was just rescued was grabbed and munched on. The father of the little girl is so dismayed at this, and knowing that if the stupid creepy suit guy had let them in from the beginning, Street Fighter dude and the other old lady would not have died. He punches the guy. Creepy suit dude again causes paranoia by quite easily convincing the rest of the people in the car that our main characters are infected. And he starts chanting like a stupid victim for them to be kicked off of this car and into another one, and everybody agrees and starts acting like animals, forcing them to get out. Our main characters are safe and together in their own little car. But karma is really something else, because the surviving old lady is so dismayed that her sister got eaten in front of her, and she can also see the zombie corpse of her sister now trying to get in with the other zombies. Wanting to be with her sister and being so sick and disgusted with the actions of the other passengers, she opens the door between all those zombies and the car she's on with the other asshole passengers. Our main characters are safely in the other car that they got exiled to as they listen to the rest of the passengers being mauled to their deaths. All seems to be sweet sailing until the conductor sees a blockage in the tracks before them. They have no choice but to find another train to hop on to complete their journey. We find out that creepy suit guy is actually alive with one of the other train attendants in the bathroom. Feeling the train stop, creepy suit guy decides that he wants out, and seeing that the zombies are still outside of the bathroom, as one is passing, he tells the attendant that it's all clear, dude. When the poor attendant peeks his head out before he can come back inside the bathroom, creepy suit guy pushes him into the zombie, which gives him time to get away as all the zombies swarm on that poor innocent guy. The villainous man sacrifices the cheerleader girl the way he just did the attendant, like pushing her into a zombie so that he can get away. Stupid asshole, I'm sorry. I've never wished for someone to die so much in my life watching a movie. The baseball dude, being very close to the girl, cries and holds her as she turns, and he doesn't even fight back. The train conductor had found another train and started it moving. During this time, he saw a runaway train on fire get derailed, while also swiping the other train the zombies were on. Waiting for survivors, the conductor eases the train along, but sees stupid creepy suit guy and decides to get off to save him when he hears the guy calling for help. Creepy suit guy pushes him into a zombie, oh my god. Stupid suit guy gets on the train, and the other main characters fight to survive as they are trapped under a train that fell onto another train. I know it sounds really confusing. The father of the little girl gets out and tries to help bring the others out, but when debris closes back up the area, the homeless man, who they had saved many times, sacrificed himself for the pregnant woman and the little girl so they can have time to get out. The father, his little girl, and the pregnant lady run for dear life from the zombies chasing them as they are trying to make it onto the moving train. The zombies make themselves into a freaking rug that suddenly attaches itself to the train and won't let go, but the father fights to kick them off. And because we can't have nice things, they find out that the stupid creepy suit guy is on the train and he had been bitten. He starts turning and quickly goes after our survivors. The father fights the zombie suit guy and throws him off the train, but he had gotten bitten in the process. He instructs a pregnant lady and his daughter as to what to do and where to get off. His daughter starts crying, and she is heartbroken that he has to leave her. He quickly leaves the engine room and throws himself off the train so he can't hurt them after reminiscing about his baby girl. Pregnant lady and little girl get off at Busan and begin walking through a train tunnel. They have no idea that snipers are stationed on the other side of the tunnel with their fingers ready on the trigger because they believe they're zombies. But they quickly stop when they hear the little girl singing the song that she had wanted to sing to her father. The reason she had choked up at her performance is because he hadn't been there, and the only reason she wanted to do it in the first place was for him. Feeling sadness and depression at losing her daddy, she decides to sing the song while she's in the tunnel, and this is what saves her and the pregnant lady because the soldiers realize that they're human since zombies can't sing. The end.